Your doubts are not a sign you're failing. They're a sign you're expanding. Doubt only shows up when you're stepping into territory your mind hasn't mastered yet. It's like the stretching of a muscle before it becomes stronger. But if you interpret that stretching as danger, you retreat, and the very thing meant to grow you becomes the thing you run from. So ask yourself, are you uncomfortable because you're unworthy or because you're evolving into something bigger than what your past prepared you for? And this is where your struggle becomes your weapon, because struggle forces you to meet parts of yourself you'd never encounter in comfort. It pushes you to develop resilience, discipline, perspective, compassion, patience, and the courage to take the next step even when everything inside you whispers, stop. That courage, not perfection, not planning, not talent, courage is what separates growth from stagnation. And courage doesn't come from feeling strong. Courage comes from moving while you still feel small. Now you might be thinking, but my problems are heavier than that. You don't know what I've been dealing with. And you're right, I don't. But I do know this. Somewhere in your story, you've already survived things you once thought you couldn't. You've already lived through moments that were supposed to break you, yet here you are, breathing, trying, showing up, listening, looking for a way forward. That alone proves you've got more in you than you give yourself credit for. Your past isn't evidence of weakness, it's evidence of endurance, and endurance is strength in disguise. You don't need a perfect plan right now. You don't need every step mapped out. You don't need all the answers. What you need is a decision. One small decision that says, I will not let this moment define the rest of my life. Because once you decide that your starting point is enough, the entire direction of your life begins to shift. Not overnight, not magically, but steadily, consistently, quietly at first, until one day you wake up and realize you've become someone you never believed you could be when you first started. Let's slow down for a moment and be honest. You've probably spent years thinking you're behind, years thinking you're late, years thinking you should have been further along by now. But here's the truth. You are not late. You are on the timeline built for your growth. If you had received the things you prayed for at the wrong time, they would have crushed you. If you had met the right people while still carrying old wounds, you might have pushed them away. If you had received success while doubting your worth, you wouldn't have been able to hold it. Timing isn't a punishment, it's protection. Right now, where you stand is the most fertile ground you'll ever have. Your uncertainty is fertile. Your frustration is fertile. Your desire for change is fertile because nothing grows in a life that's too comfortable. Growth begins when comfort ends. And if things feel messy right now, if you feel like your life is being rearranged, it's because something inside you is preparing you for a level of strength you wouldn't have needed if your journey was easy. And here's something important. Stop expecting yourself to heal, grow, or succeed in silence. You're human. You're allowed to struggle. You're allowed to cry. You're allowed to have bad days. But don't confuse a bad day with a bad direction. Don't confuse slow progress with no progress. Every time you get back up, even if it's not graceful, even if you feel tired, even if you feel unsure, that's strength. That's growth. That's resilience waking up inside you. There's a version of you in the future who's already proud of you. Proud that you didn't give up when things didn't make sense. Proud that you kept showing up when no one was watching. Proud that you used what you had instead of waiting for what you wished you had. That future version of you is built on the choices you make today. Not perfect choices, just consistent ones. Small steps compound faster than you realize, and what feels insignificant today becomes unstoppable momentum later. You might not see it yet, but your story is building power. Every setback is sharpening you. Every challenge is strengthening you. Every delay is shaping you. Every disappointment is redirecting you. You're not being buried, you're being planted. And planted things don't look like they're growing right away. On the surface, everything is dark, quiet, still. But underground, everything is changing. Roots are forming, foundation is building. And that's exactly what's happening with you. So let me leave you with this. You don't need a different past. You don't need different circumstances. You don't need to become someone else. You don't need a perfect beginning. You just need to recognize that your starting point, this exact moment, is enough. Because everything powerful you are going to become starts here. Everything you're dreaming of starts here. Every breakthrough you're waiting for starts here. Your struggles are not the obstacle. They are the strength being forged. And one day you will look back on this chapter, the chapter where you doubted yourself the most, and realize it was the chapter that made you unstoppable. Your starting point is not your weakness. It is your advantage. And it's time you finally saw it that way.